just started in my bedroom with a little cassette tape recorder, and several years ago I sent one of those tapes to Dr. Demento, who happens to be a friend of mine from Los Angeles, who has one of those syndicated shows that plays a series of old and new comedy and novelty tunes. And way back when I was in high school, he started playing my original tunes on the air. And this continued for a few years. And then in 1979 I recorded a parody of the Knack's My Sharona called My Bologna. And that was a pretty large success on the show. And it was eventually released on Capitol Records as a single.
You know, not many rock and roll stars specialize in playing the accordion. Coming up next, you'll meet a guy who does. His name is Weird Al Yankovic. Don't go away.
Did you hear that? Weird Al Yankovic. This was so early in his career, they did not even have his name correct yet. So, unless something else pops up, this is the earliest television interview and profile on Weird Al. So let's see Weird Al when he was a young Weird Al. This was before he had his first album out, which would have My Sharona and Another One Rides the Bus. Anyways, without further ado, let's check this out.
We'll also meet a fella named Crazy Al or Weird Al Yankovic. It doesn't really matter what they call him because he plays a rock and roll accordion like nobody in the world. In fact, nobody else in the world really wants to. You'll meet Weird Al tonight. Well, like most kids who grew up in the 60s, see, I had these dreams that if I could just play the guitar, I could be like Phil Oakes or Bob Dylan or one of those people, or maybe even play in a rock and roll band. In the end, I think I finally learned one chord. Let's see if I can find it. And clearly forgot it. However, rock and roll isn't necessarily the arena of the guitar. Not these days, anyway, since we found out about Weird Al Yankovic. Weird Al, you say? And rock and roll accordion? Sure. Beth Wood takes us to meet Weird Al. Strike up the band.
The rock group Queen's #1 hit song, Another One Bites the Dust.
Another one rides the bus up. Another one rides the bus up.
Superstar Billy Joel's It's Still Rock and Roll to Me.
The road to me. It's still Billy Joel to me.
And the Knack's My Sharona. All three songs were at the top of the pop charts, and all three fell victim to rock and roll parody writer and singer Weird Al Yankovic. No heavy metal, just a mean lead accordion. Weird Al's gained popularity, or perhaps notoriety, because of his hilarious rock and roll ripoffs, and of course, because of his weirdness.
Do you think people need a kind of craziness?
I think so. I think we live in times when you need that kind of humor, because there isn't a lot of musical humor around that anymore. Alan Sherman's gone, and I'm hoping to fill that void that I think we need right now.
Off stage, Al seems pretty normal. He lives in Los Angeles and works during the week in the mailroom of a radio syndication company called Westwood One. And just like many other 21-year-old guys, he recently graduated from college with a degree in architecture. But being Weird Al in his free time fulfills a fantasy that started when he was young.
When did you start the accordion?
When I was 7 years old, I think I began taking lessons, and I had lessons for 3 years. And after that, I got tired of it, and I sat it down because I was just learning polkas and, mazurkas and whatever, and that really wasn't what I was into. I wanted to play rock music like the rest of my friends, and with an accordion, that wasn't really that acceptable. I might get a job in a bar mitzvah or playing Italian weddings, but not in a rock band like I wanted. So just within the last couple of years, I realized, well, I could work something. Maybe if I'm a little weird, maybe if I do something a little strange, then an accordion would be an acceptable medium for that. So it seems to have worked out so far.
His biggest hit has been Another One Rides the Bus, but Weird Al first received national exposure on the syndicated radio comedy show Dr. Demento.
Riding the bus down the boulevard and the place was pretty packed. Yeah.
just started in my bedroom with a little cassette tape recorder, and several years ago I sent one of those tapes to Dr. Dementer, who happens to be a friend of mine from Los Angeles, who has one of those syndicated shows that plays a series of old and new comedy and novelty tunes. And way back when I was in high school, he started playing my original tunes on the air. And this continued for a few years. And then in 1979, I recorded a parody of the Knack's My Sharona called My Bologna. And that was a pretty large success on the show. And it was eventually released on Capitol Records as a single.
Hungry one, open up a package of my bologna.
And how do rock stars react to Al's versions of their songs?
I know a lot of artists are afraid to say, oh, it stings, because that makes them, come off sounding pretty bad. But I think most of them generally are flattered with it. They have a pretty good sense of humor about those things, luckily.
Where do you get the crazy ideas for your songs? They just come to you, or does it take a while?
No, well, again, it varies from song to song, but usually just an idea strikes me and I sit down and write the song, and it's, what can I say, it's just the product of a sick mind.
Sick, weird, or whatever, people love his songs. His latest hit, Another One Rides the Bus, has been requested at radio stations all over the country.
And we got it one Saturday afternoon, immediately threw it on the platter, and it worked. I had like 50 calls immediately, all through the afternoon. Hello, KRNA. Another One Rides the Bus? Sure, okay, thank you.
The phone calls are going bananas for this guy. He has made the accordion probably one of the greatest rock instruments in modern day music. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the sick man himself, today's stiff of the day, Weird Al Yankovic.
At an appearance in Iowa City, fans had a chance to ride the bus with Weird Al.
Riding the bus down the boulevard and the place was pretty packed. I couldn't find a seat, so I had to stand with the perverts in the back. It was smelling like a locker room. There was junk all over the floor. We're already packed in like sardines. We're stopping to pick up more. Look out!
Whoa. Weird Al does Another One Rides the Bus on an actual bus. Now, why did MTV never have him do that? That is great.
Suitcase poking me in the ribs and an elbow in my ear. Smell your bum standing next to me. He hasn't showered in the air. Well, I think I'm in the contact lens. I think my wallet's gone.
And what would make a person spend money to see Weird Al Yankovic?
Everyone says someone's different. He is totally different. Totally different.
He's weird, and I like him because he's cool.
I don't know how much money they pay him, but it better be alive, because I wouldn't do the things he does for that.
He's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, those pants he wore were so psychedelic. I was just going out of my mind.
Weird Al, he's the greatest. He's the best. I can't get enough of him. He's wonderful. I love him.
But does Weird Al's music really have any social significance?
My music shows man's inhumanity against man, and in the correlation of human events, a strange juxtaposition sometimes occurs, and the visual tension that erupts when this kind of tension occurs it creates a total void which the medium can't comprehend, and the ramifications are totally undiversified.
And meaning?
No.
Well, good news for rock and roll fans. Weird Al is going to record an album with such classics as Another One Rides the Bus and other soon-to-be favorites. Unforgettable. We'll be back with more Rock and Roll Evening Magazine straight ahead.
Weird Al. Love him or hate him, guess what? He's a millionaire. He took on Madonna. He took on Nirvana. And he took on the biggest of all, Michael Jackson. Eat it, eat it, eat it, eat it. Like I said, love him or hate him, he's a millionaire. Guess the only person who doesn't like him is Coolio. Oh, Miss Paradise. I guess Coolio wasn't that mad at him because he never did anything about it. So, anyways, I'm going to weird on out of here and find you something else. But just remember, he was 21 years old here. Think about that. What were you doing when you were 21? Yes, it is true. He was going to school to become an architect because he was told, well, you're good at math and you're good at art. You should be an architect. Okay. So that's what he was going to school for. Can you imagine Weird Al Yankovic, the architect? Anyways, it's time for me to go on along and find something else for you to watch. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned. because you never know what might pop up from my collection. See you later.